go with the recording. Alright, good afternoon everyone. Today is Thursday, May 3rd, 2012. We're going to go over all the trades that we took in the live trading room this morning, the results, and all that stuff. Let me go over the results first. The Russell, we're up 10 ticks. The YM, we're down 10 ticks. The NQ, we're down 2 ticks. And the ES, we're down 2 points. Okay, 2 points per contract on the ES. Those are the results from the morning's trades. Now, let's go through them all, and we'll do them all one by one, all right? Right here, let's start right out. First thing this morning, on the Russell, we missed this trade right here. It pulled back up to test the BBC. We had the bearish divergence right here. Now, when I say divergence, what I'm talking about is divergence between the green line here and, well, these lines really, and this line down here. All right, so price pulled back up here, tested that with the down close. That's where you would have entered that trade for the short. All right, there were more opportunities coming along right in here, but we were getting into the news event that happened right here. You can see right here at 10 o'clock. Between right here and right here, all those bars are 1 minute's trading. So we didn't do anything in there. As a matter of fact, we didn't do anything until over here. We got long right here once we had bullish divergence down here, the green going away from the cycle. MA1 moved up above the BBC, price pulled away, and pulled back down to test the BBC with an up close. We got 10 ticks out of that trade right there. All right, there was more bullish divergence in here, but price pulled through, and the MA1 was red and headed down, and the cycle was red and started to head down as well, so we did not take this trade. All right, things started to consolidate right here. This was the end of our morning session right in here. Things started to consolidate. At the end of the morning session, we went on, one of the partners jumped in, and I opened up his mic, and he talked a little bit about some things that he's been noticing. Different things. I'm not going to go over them right now. You know, when he's ready, we'll go over them in the partners meeting, which, by the way, is tonight. We have a partners meeting tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are on the trial and you want to become a partner and you don't know how, send an email to support@cfrn.net and we will get you all set up and you can be a partner, get into that meeting tonight. If you are not on the trial and you want to get on the trial, go to www.cfrn.net/apply to get to take our trial. With the free trial, you get 5 business days of all the indicators and charts that you see here, all the data feeds. Daniel's Trading supplies the data feeds and the charting platform. We provide the indicators and the live trading room, and the setups and all that stuff, and the training. All right. So if you are not on the trial and you want to be on the trial, www.cfrn, CF like Frank, rn.net/apply. All right. If you are on the trial and you want to become a partner, send us an email if you don't know how to. All right, and we'll get you all the details. You can see as things move down here, we had more divergences in here, but it never tested the BBC until over here. By the time it got here, we lost our divergence. The cycle and the MA1 were both headed up. All right, it's a little mixed up right here. It's starting to give a little bit of bullish divergence. These lines, this was the triangle that I had drawn in earlier. When it broke down outside of the triangle, you can see it did make a nice move down when it broke out of that triangle. Okay. But there you have it. That was the Russell. That was our one trade on the Russell. The gold, we had a few trades on the gold, but we ended break even on the morning. Okay. Let's see. We'll scroll back here. Here we go. There were opportunities here. You see this right here. We had bearish divergence. It tested the BBC with the down close. Right there was bearish divergence. Over here it pulled up to test the BBC and we got a down close up in here, but we lost our divergence by the time it happened. Over here we had a little bit of divergence down here. Not exactly the optimal setup. It tested the BBC with the down close and that worked out. Over here we had bullish divergence. I actually got long over here. And when it started having trouble here at the MA1, I moved my stop up to break even, and I got stopped out right there at break even. All right, you see we had the bullish divergence down here. The MA1 moved above the BBC, price moved with it, and pulled back down to the BBC. The up close is blocked right here. This was my entry right in here on that up close. Okay. And from there it just moved up. I got a break even on that trade. There was another one over here that I took. We had the bullish divergence, the test of the BBC, the up close, and right there is where I got out at break even. It moved up here about 8 ticks in my favor, I think, and then it pulled back down and stopped me out at break even when I moved my stop to break even. I figured it was gonna have this kind of a move over here if it broke above this level right here, but it didn't make it on this push right here. It didn't make it above it. Okay. Let's see. This right here was right before the news event. Okay, so we didn't do anything in here. You know, we stayed away from the markets right in here, and all these opportunities that were there, I'm not even going to look at them because it happened so quickly that there was no chance. We had all this bearish divergence down here, you can see. Yeah, we had all this bearish divergence down here, but it never pulled all the way back up to test the BBC. All right. Finally, over here it actually hit the BBC. We didn't have divergence anymore. Over here it hit the BBC, and we did have divergence. But the cycle in the MA1 were coming down against us here, so I didn't go long in this spot. All right. Over here we had a little bit of divergence, but it wasn't exactly optimal at this point because the MA1 was moving up right here, and the overall trend was still bouncing back up. I don't know if you can see that on the trend lines. Right up there, like that. I mean, at this point we were just right here. But let me draw it here too. Okay. Let's see. Moving forward, we didn't have any more opportunities right in here. All right. Over here we had some bearish divergence. We needed a test of the BBC. By the time we got the test of the BBC over here, the MA1 was moving up and the cycle was moving up, so we didn't look to take that in there. It did work out had you taken it. It did work out. This period right here, this consolidation period, was the same one that we had on the Russell. We drew these triangles in at the same time. You see the gold broke out to the upside where the Russell broke out to the downside. Now, right in here, after it broke out to the upside, right here there was some bullish divergence on this pullback right here with the up close. All right, so there was a little bit of an opportunity right there. It dropped back down through the BBC right here. The MA1 dropped through the BBC, price dropped through the BBC. We had some bearish divergence, but no opportunity there. Over here, let me show you this one. Over here, we had an opportunity with the bearish divergence right there. Okay, and that's pretty much all we had so far this morning on gold. We traded those 2 break-even trades right there. That's what we had on gold this morning. Okay. Let's see. Let me move over to the YM. I believe we had a couple of trades on the YM this morning. Yeah, we had some opportunities in here on the YM, for sure. All right. Right here, this was our first trade. We had some bearish divergence. The cycle was headed up and the MA1 was headed up. It wasn't the best trade. It went down to the MA1, and the MA1 just trapped it and sent it right back up. Okay, we stopped out on that. That's where we lost. I think we lost 7 or 8 ticks on that one. Okay, it went up and it hit the BBC. In here, there were a bunch of opportunities in here, but again, we were getting right into the news event. So I was not trading anything right in here. But you can see there was an opportunity there, and then at 10 o'clock, there's no sense going over these opportunities right here between 10 and 10:02 because they happen too fast. Over here, we started to get some bearish divergence again. You see the green is up here and the blue is down here. The red and blue, the cycle's down here. We tested the BBC with a down close. There was an opportunity in there. There was bearish divergence right in here. Oops, right down here. And we tested the BBC right there with a down close right there for that move down to the weekly trading zone. Now, I actually took this trade. I shorted right over here. I ended up getting a break even on this. I sat through this thing. I think it went 10 ticks in my favor, and I moved my stop to break even. I was expecting it to get down here to the weekly trading zone. It went within a couple of ticks of the weekly trading zone and came up and stopped me out at break even. That trade right there would have put me back in the green on the day. as it was, I took that trade. I ended up getting a break even on that one, and I took this trade right here, this long trade that went a little bit in my favor. Then it came back and stopped me out at break even. It actually slipped me a tick. That's what put me down 9 ticks on the YM. Now in here there was another opportunity right here. We had some bullish divergence. The cycle was red and headed down. The MA1 was red and headed down, so we really didn't want to take that. Over here, the MA1 crossed down below the BBC. All right, and we had bearish divergence, cycle red and headed down, MA1 red and headed down, pulled back up, tested the BBC, gave a down close. This was during the break, right at the, that was when we had one of the partners in here speaking during the break about something that he has discovered and is working with. He actually made 61 ticks today trading the thing that he was talking about in the morning session. And that made a nice move down. And that brings us to where we are right now. All right. That is the YM. Now let's look at the ES. We took a trade on the ES this morning right here. We had some bearish divergence right here. We had a bearish cross below the BBC right here by the MA1, and this was the first pullback. Now this is one of the trades that Dwayne's going to show on the videos that he's doing with just the BBC and the MA1 on the 10,000 contract chart. This one unfortunately didn't work out for us. It stopped me out right there. I didn't see it when it turned around and went in the other direction right here, or I could have gotten the points back right here on the other side. But I lost 2 points right here, and I could have gotten the 2 points right back on that one. You can see right here it's getting into position here to actually short again off of the BBC again right there. All right. That was the ES. Let me see. I gotta find my NQ chart because we took some NQ trades too. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me find the NQ. Here it is. Here it is. All right. I'll blow the NQ up for you a little bit so you can see a little more at once. Here, let's scroll back to the open. Here's the open. There was a nice trade right here. We had some bearish divergence. Pullback test to the BBC with a down close. All right, that was a good opportunity right in there. We had bullish divergence right here with an up close. And that worked out well. Okay, over here it got really choppy, and we didn't have any opportunities in there anyway. Right over here we had bearish divergence. All right, right there, bearish divergence. Tested the BBC with the down close right there. All right, did it again right here. If you didn't catch it on that first one, you had another opportunity right there, and another one right here. And as we scroll through here, we had bullish divergence here, but the cycle and the MA1 were red and headed down, so we weren't looking to get long. Over here, we had some bearish divergence right here. Okay, bearish divergence. We tested the BBC with the down close right there. Over here, we had bullish divergence. Tested the BBC with an up close. Now, these are all trades that we missed. And when I say we missed the trades, I don't mean we missed them because we wanted to miss them. We missed them because I missed them, because I was trading on some other market at the time, or I was doing something, or answering a question, or something like that. But for those of you guys who are clients or partners, you have all the indicators yourself. So you can see this stuff on your desktop, and you don't have to miss these trades. You can be taking these trades. All right, you're not doing 5 different markets at once. You may be doing 1 or 2, and you're not answering questions from 100 people. You may be asking a couple of questions, but you're not answering them. So there's plenty of opportunity here for everyone in any of these markets. All right. Now on the NQ, I went long right here. The cycle and the MA1 were headed down, but I went long anyway. I lost 6 ticks on this. It turned around and I got short right here, and I got 4 of the ticks back right here. So I lost 6 there. I got 4 back right here, and those were the only 2 trades I took on the NQ this morning. There were plenty of other opportunities right in here for this big move down right there. All right. This isn't optimal over here, and right now it's kind of it's a little choppy. All right. Those were all the trades that we took in the live trading room this morning. Now, what I want everybody to take away from this is that we used the same exact setup across all those markets that I just showed you. I think we just went through the ES, the YM, gold, the Russell, and the NQ. ES, YM, gold, Russell, and NQ. 5 different markets. I could show you it on a couple more markets. I could show you it on the 6E. I could show you it on crude using the same exact setup, the same exact indicators, even the same time frame. I can show it all to you there. That's what I want you to take away from this. Now, whatever you want to trade, you can trade. Let me take a moment, one more moment here, just to show one more thing. This is a 15-minute ES chart. Okay, let me just slide it back a little bit. It's a 15-minute ES chart, and using the slingshot down here, using the cycle on the slingshot for your directional indication on the larger time frame chart. All right, this is a 15-minute. So you look over here, it's been down all day. So on a smaller time frame, I know a lot of guys don't want to trade on 4-tick range charts, don't even know what a 4-tick range chart is. But if you know what a 15-minute chart is, and a 3-minute chart, we'll say. Now, it was down all day. All day we were looking for the ES, or we were expecting the ES to keep moving down. So if you look at a 3-minute chart, and over here on the 3-minute chart, you just look at your divergences, right in here, okay, right in here. All these spots where it was divergent on the downside, just looking at the shorts, okay, what could you have done in here? You know, you got a doji right here at the BBC. You tested the BBC right here. If you look at this, 13.99.45, it dropped down into the weekly trading zone, even below it at 13.95 half. There's 4 points right there. If you did it again from right here, looking for the larger gain. You know, if you just would have done this first one and held on to it, you didn't have any risk. You know, if you entered up here, you never came back to break even on this trade. If you entered up here at, say, 13.99 half, it dropped all the way down to 13.91 for an 8.5 point move. And that was in the first hour. So, you know, you don't have to do it all just on the smaller time frames. It works on the larger time frames as well. Okay? I just wanted to point that out for the folks who like to use these larger time frames. All right. That's it. I'm going to wrap up the recording. Anybody has any questions, you can type them in here. Dwayne, Burt, and I are the only ones who can see them. And if you want to email questions to me, you can email to support@cfrn.net. If you want to call me, you can call. You can call us. The number's on the email that I sent out to you. On any of the number of emails that were sent out to you. If you are on trial and you want to become a partner, you should have an email with an offer from us to become a partner. If you're interested in that, give us a call. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up.